and we'll just talk back and forth and elaborate. You know what I mean?
Okay. So we live now. All right. Welcome everyone again to another episode of the Kingdom Concept Media. I'm the host, Minister Jimmy West, also a Gulf War veteran, independent licensed insurance agent. Um, and our objective here, mission is we provide free education and financial literacy to the general public so that everyone from individuals, families, employees, business owners are properly financially prepared, for their future and the futures of their loved ones and businesses. Also, our vision is to help everyone in the United States to create and build generational wealth that you can tap into while you're alive, as well as set up your future generation for financial success. So, with that being said, our guest today again is Mr. Paul Madrano, co-founder, co-owner of PHP, all the way from California, the Sunshine State, as they call it. So I'm gonna just turn it over to Mr. Drano and let him, kind of just tell you a little bit about himself, and then we will proceed with the show. Mr. Madrano?
Yes, Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Hi, you guys. Welcome back. Again, my name is Paul Madrano, one of the co-founders, co-owners of the PHP agency. Been involved in the industry now almost 15 years, but been with the PHP agency since our inception, October 20th, 2009. And coming from a real estate and mortgage background, I've never looked back. Love what I do, love helping people, love helping families. The industry is expanding. Difficult times like this are helping our industry, but just glad to be a part of a movement. We call it the financial movement, Jimmy, which I believe a lot of people need some help with right now, because that's their number one concern right now. Now that we've quote unquote not gotten past COVID, we're not past it yet, but we're pretty much out of the danger zone, But now the concern is, how do we recover from this pandemic? How do we recover and battle what's going on right now in America? So just very proud to be a part of the financial movement and help families get involved and change the trajectory of their life.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I really do appreciate your time, Mr. Madrano. And today's show, the title of today's show is Why It's a Perfect Time to Be a Part of PHP. As we see every time we turn the television on, we just hear so much negativity. We hear so much stuff going on in the world. Price is going up, gas price going up, food going up, so many things, that are affecting a lot of families. So, Mr. Madrano, the first question that I'll ask you today is what is inflation? And just tell us about inflation.
So inflation, Jimmy, is basically the cost of living. Okay. And what we've seen over the past 6 months is inflation has gone up dramatically. Every couple of months it's gone up, and now we're close to 10% that it's gone up. I'm sure you've seen it at the grocery store. You've seen eggs, you've seen bread, you've seen everything in those things that have dramatically increased in price. But not only that, let's talk about, Jimmy, in my neck of the woods, where gasoline is at. Gasoline, I remember, and we've always had the highest gasoline in Southern California, Jimmy. I mean, let's just face it, right? It's the most expensive place to live in the United States is Southern California. But, I remember back in the day when we were paying $4 a gallon, and that was still high. But we got all the way up to 8. Even in Sacramento, Jimmy, I believe they broke a record for $10 a gallon. $10 a gallon. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, I feel really bad for the people, the W-2 people that are on a fixed salary, fixed income, and they still gotta commute to work. They still gotta drive. They still gotta put food on the table.
Right.
Now they're dealing with high gas prices, high produce, high meats, and you've even seen it in the restaurants, Jimmy. In the restaurants, their menus have gone up. Why? Because the commodities that they used to get prior to the pandemic, prior to the war in Ukraine, all this stuff is causing everything to go up. And it was funny the other day, Jimmy, I'm at a restaurant and I have my go-tos that I normally go to, right? Like my regulars.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the bill and I was like, wait a minute, this is like $6, $7 higher. So I didn't say anything at the register, but I went back to the table and everything I ordered, and it was up. It was up. And then on top of that, Jimmy, I talked to, I have a number of friends that own restaurants here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my favorite things on the menu, they're not offering. And I'm like, why are you not offering? He says, Paul, people won't buy it because it's gone up so much in price. We've had to raise our prices and we can't do it. And even, Jimmy, I'm not even talking about the mom and pop shops. I'm talking about chains. There's a place I go out here where I love to get crab legs. I don't know if you like crab legs, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I love me some crab legs. A king crab. I don't like snow crab. I want the big ones.
Right.
And for the longest time, Jimmy, it's been off the menu. And it's just too expensive to import. And because it's expensive, they have to raise it on the menu side where the consumer comes in and says, think about it. A consumer, a husband, wife, 3 kids, you're looking at spending $200 to $250 just for dinner. I mean, come on. So when you're looking at all these things, and we sort of knew it was coming, Jimmy. We knew when the government was giving out all that money, when the pandemic was upon us and people weren't working, and man, there was a lot of confusion. We know from history tells us if there's only one way that you handle a deficit is through, and there's only one way you control an economy is through inflation. But a deficit, if we're printing a bunch of money, Jimmy, we're gonna have to make up for that money somehow. It just doesn't. It doesn't grow on trees.
Right.
So taxes are higher now. I mean, the world has no idea what's coming. And one of the things that we like to educate families on is entrepreneurship, because the only way to outpace inflation, Jimmy, is to make more money. And if you're on a fixed income, I really feel bad for you. You got to have a plan B, because let me tell you, the minute the economy, we just saw the Feds, Jimmy, they raised the interest rate again.
Yeah.
They just did it this past Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, not yesterday, the week before. They just raised it 0.75% again. And on top of the first 3 quarters, which, by the way, the first 3 quarters, they hadn't done, Jimmy. They hadn't raised it that high since the 70s. I mean, this is crazy what's going on today. So for Americans, inflation, the only way to battle inflation, the cost of living, is you got to make more money. And that's why, Jimmy, when you look at average inflation across the U.S., before, inflation on average, Jimmy, was 4%, right, in the United States. And in California, places like Miami, New York, you're looking at inflation and normal 6 to 8%. So what does that mean? If your money's not making at least 6 to 8% on your money, you're not even breaking even. Inflation is kicking your butt. And that's why a lot of people, Jimmy, are moving out of California. A lot of people, we got the homeless population increasing like crazy in California. We got people, mortgage defaults going like crazy. The first, I don't know if I told you this last time, Jimmy, the first 2 quarters in LA County, there was 8,000 bankruptcies filed. 8,000.
Man.
That's insane. And it's just piling up and piling up. And to be quite honest with you, Jimmy, I don't think our feds know what to do. You know, you got the blue and red fighting each other. They're going crazy. They have to raise rates to slow down the economy because merchants, you know, gouging. You know as well as I know, Jimmy, these gas merchants were taking advantage of the population, and they were raising gas rates because there's only one thing that happens in the economy, Jimmy. Someone's making money, someone's losing money.
Exactly.
And that's a sad thing that's happened over this past couple of years is the poor got poor and the rich got rich. Plain and simple. So in getting back to the question with inflation, Jimmy, yes, it's the cost of living. And that's why a lot of people are leaving Los Angeles. That's why a lot of people don't live in big cities because they can't afford to live in big cities. It's not easy. It's not easy. But the best way I would say is you got to make more money and you got to have a vehicle to do so.
Yeah, and I totally agree. You know, even you were talking about food prices and that kind of stuff, but let's hit home. You look at the kids are getting ready to go back to school. School clothes are going up. School supplies are going up. Everything is going up, and it's a burden on a lot of families. So that's why I just like what yourself do and what we're doing is helping people educating people on how they can help themselves overcome a lot of those burdens. So Mr. Madrano, the next question would be let's talk about real estate, how this affecting the real estate market.
Well, it affects it big time, Jimmy, and I'll tell you why. When the feds increase interest rates, that's interest rates across the board. It's not just, oh, we're just going to pick one. No. Let me give you an example. Credit cards. People don't even know, Jimmy, their interest on their credit cards just rose again, which gets them further in the hole. But now we're talking about interest rates on buying homes. Right now, there's a shortage of homes across the United States. Number one. Builders are building, and I'm going to tell you how it's like a chain reaction, how it all works together. So, over the past couple of years, Jimmy, we were selling some homes. And why were we? It's very simple, Jimmy. The feds control the interest rates. They control the economy. So when they want to speed it up, what do? They drop interest rates. And what were the interest rates, Jimmy? It was crazy. 2.25%, 2%. Wow.
Yeah.
But now what was the caveat to that? The price of homes, right? The price of homes got bigger. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want a higher loan amount, which most people cannot qualify for, right? You have to be A paper today. Okay. It's not like the old days where you could have a no document loan. No, today you have to be A paper. You have to have money to put down. But on top of that, Jimmy, it's even worse. All the competition. I have a lot of clients, Jimmy, and my clients, I see their finances. I see what they're preparing to do, what they're not preparing to do, what moves they're trying to make, trying to get out of debt, fix credit, you name it. I see it all because that's my job. I have to look at their finances and say, this is a good move, that's not a good move, so and so. So, Jimmy, when they lowered interest rates, homes were selling, right? But this is a challenge. Let's say you're a first-time buyer. You're an FHA loan, right? First-time buyer. And you're competing against people with serious money from other countries that come into Los Angeles. That's typically the issue, okay? So a normal mom and dad try to buy a house, but they're getting outbid by 20 other buyers. Jimmy, there was homes in LA County selling for $100,000 to $200,000 over asking price. And then Jimmy, no escrow. They were just coming in, buying it out cash. Like, how does that help middle America? How does that help the average family who's just trying to live the American dream, buy a home because they're tired of renting, they're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, And guess what happens? They come in, they find the house of their dreams. They say, okay, we can do this. They're trying to negotiate on a better price. And a whale just comes in and just snatches their lunch. So now that happened over the past 2 years. Now, so after we started getting everything under control, not under control, but the focus the past 2 years, Jimmy, you know as well as I do as well, COVID and getting back open again. So now COVID started declining. Then the Fed said, okay, how are we going to fix this? Right? The economy is moving too fast. Why? Because everyone knew people were hurting. So what do? They raise their prices, gas, boom, everything. So then guess what the Fed started doing? We got to raise interest rates. We got to slow the economy down. So they raised it 3/4. It helped a little bit. Then they got to do it again. So now what's the challenge? Getting back to your question with real estate. Jimmy, if I have a normal person, okay, and they're trying to buy a house for $200,000, let's say, per se, and or let me give you an example. Let's say their interest rates at their interest rates, a normal interest rate, they were doing 2-3% on their loan, right? Mm-hmm. They got it, and they're paying a $2,500 mortgage. Now, with the way interest rates have gone up, we're seeing interest rates on homes 6, 7, 8%. 6% on average, but they're going up. So that going up, Jimmy, and this is not including points, charges, anything by who? The mortgage agent or the real estate agent. So you're talking to someone who thought they were going to get a house at $2,500 a month to now they're paying $5,000 a month. Jimmy, I don't care if you lower the price. Who can afford that payment?
Not me.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, the other day I was talking to my CEO, and he was telling me he was having dinner with his entertainment attorney. His entertainment attorney, because you know Patrick has valuetainment, you know, and obviously when you're in the media that much, you need representation. So he's having dinner with his entertainment attorney, and his entertainment attorney had just bought a 2,000 square foot house. 2,000, Jimmy, nothing crazy. 2,000 square foot house in a nice area, though. I will say that. Toluca Lake. Toluca Lake, Jimmy, is a little pocket in the San Fernando Valley. It's a little west of Burbank, but it's a nice, cute, quaint, safe little area. You know what I mean? If you find a house there, you're lucky. Because whoever has them there, it's what we call old money. You know the term old money, right, Jimmy? They keep that house. Ain't no one going to get it because it's going to go from generation to generation to generation.
Right.
They don't sell it. But he got lucky and he bought a normal 2,000 square foot house. This is an entertainment attorney. Entertainment attorneys in Los Angeles make a lot of money. Okay. Jimmy, you know how much this house costed? You ready? 1.8 million.
For a 2,000 square foot house.
For a 2,000 square foot house. 1.8. Jimmy, and think about this. It's a good area. Don't get me wrong. 2,000 square feet. Now think about that, Jimmy. What's the down payment on that? Let's say you're putting 10% down. That's easily over 100,000. 120, 180. Who's got that kind of money laying around? So what am I telling you this for? Jimmy, with interest rates going up, property values will start to come down. But either way, who can afford it? So who does this hurt? It hurts real estate agents, real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, mortgage agents. Why? Because if there's no market, if people can't buy, what are they going to sell? What are they going to sell? And they've been affected drastically. I've seen numbers, Jimmy, from 20 to 80%. 20 to 80% losses this quarter in comparison to last quarter this year. 20 to 80%. On top of that, who else does that affect? Let's talk about who else that affects, Jimmy. That affects retailers. Who? Furniture depots, right? If they ain't no homes, who's going to buy furniture? That sits there, okay? Who else does this this affect? Contractors. Why? Contractors, if they're building, they buy all this lumber. They got to buy it first. They got to build all these homes. If those homes sit there, Jimmy, they were projected to sell at a certain value, and they sit there. What happens to the contractor? He's out of work. He's out of money. So it's a domino effect, Jimmy, but it affects everything. What else does it affect? Okay, let's talk about lumber. How expensive did lumber get? Ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Ridiculous. So it puts those guys out of business. So this affect, Jimmy, inflation, interest rates, it's a domino effect. It affects everybody in the United States, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it just is heartbreaking to see a lot of people being, affected by this situation. Moms, fathers, families, business owners, and so forth and so on. So again, that's one of the things that I like about, what yourself, PHP, do, as well as Kingdom Concept. We try to educate people and help people and try to show them a way that, they can overcome a lot of this. So, Mr. Madrano, in closing, how do PHP help those people, or why is this a perfect time to be a part of PHP?
Oh, beautiful question, Jimmy. So, number one, Jimmy, and this is why I chose this industry when I came from real estate. This industry is recession proof. Okay. We always work. And on top of that, it's essential. Jimmy, we've worked harder and more since the pandemic started than ever before. I've made more money in my career since the pandemic started than ever before. And let me tell you why, Jimmy. When things get bad, people listen. Does that make sense? Pain sharpens listening.
Yes.
When everyone's making money, Jimmy, nobody listens. But let me give you some examples. People losing money in their 401ks in the stock market, 20 to 40%. Scared. Jobs, job security. Okay. Inflation goes up, people stop spending. People stop spending, businesses stop making what? Revenue.
Yep.
After revenue's not made, what happens? They got to make adjustments. Layoffs.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Layoffs. And then possibly after layoffs, the business goes out of business and more people become unemployed. So the reason why it's perfect to be in our industry, one, it's recession proof. Okay. Number two, it's essential. Three, it's the highest paying job in the world. And it's not the highest paying business, I should say, because it's not a job. But we help people, Jimmy. What this one thing is going to do, Jimmy, the COVID and the recession, we'll come out of this. But let me tell you what it's going to do for America. It's going to make people start saving again, like the old school days. The old school days, because this recession, Jimmy, it's going to be as bad as the Great Depression. They just won't tell you it. It's far worse than 2008. Far worse. We got way more ground to cover because this is a global recession. There's not one country right now, Jimmy, that's doing good. Not one. And you know what was crazy? It wasn't an epidemic. It was a pandemic. It affected multiple countries. It was worldwide. So when we do come out, it'll be great. But the reason why it's perfect to be in our industry right now, because people, Jimmy, because it's been painful, are going to get serious about what? Being frugal, about saving, about protecting their families, about not blowing it off, about debt. They're going to want to get out of debt right away. Because what? What did they do over the past 2 years, Jimmy? Credit card, credit card, credit card. Man, crazy. But our business, Jimmy, will always be in business. We'll always work. And we do good things, Jimmy. You know what I mean? We don't lose money. Our products are protected. We protect families. We're essential. We're recession proof. I mean, and let me tell you, the one good thing, Jimmy, we used to do home to home, right? Old school ways. We go sit belly to belly, kneecap. For those of you watching, people don't even want to meet with me in person now because they're scared. Zoom is my best friend. I wish I would have known, Jimmy. I would have invested in Zoom right before,
right.
before COVID hit.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it's beautiful now because now I'm in the comfort of my own office. I can do double the appointments because I don't have to take time driving somewhere. And I'm able to help people all over the country, Jimmy, where before it was just LA County. It was LA County. Now I can help everyone. I mean, you're coming to me, Jimmy, from Georgia, and I'm in Los Angeles. How is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Ladies and gentlemen, I did not meet Jimmy West until the pandemic started through Zoom. And here we are today. Good friends.
Yeah, exactly. You know, again, you know, everyone out there listening, if you feel the burden of everything that's going on, we're here to help. You know, like Mr. Madrano was saying, even when it comes to debt, you know, situation, you know, we can help. You know, so again, you know, you can contact us at 229-999-6788 or email us at kingdomconceptmedia@gmail.com. And you also can visit the Facebook page, Kingdom Concept Media. But again, in closing, Mr. Madrano, again, I want to say thank you for your time, you know, for your knowledge. But any last word that you want to give to the public before we close?
Yes, you guys. One, get very serious with your finances. If you don't have someone in your area, contact Jimmy. But this problem's not going to go away. So you've got to face it. Your family's future is depending on it. But right now, just like you, there's many other people that need help. And that's why it's the perfect time to be in our industry, because we're curing the financial cancer that's affected us today. But it's not going to go away. You guys have to be proactive in knowing, hey, I've got to make a move to secure my family, because this is not going to take me over. And just so you know, you guys, the most money ever created in history was done during a recession, during a depression. That's when the most money's made. So if you're out there and you're thinking like, what do I do? You've got to be proactive right now, and you've got to get out there and say, okay, people are making money. There's a need. There's a financial need. How do I become proactive and advance in the situation? Because one or two things is going to happen, Jimmy. People are going to make money right now, which typically is the perfect time. If you think about Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what did he always talk about? The perfect time to start a business is during when? During a recession.
Yep.
Perfect time, because most people, Jimmy, will put their head in the sand and wait for the government to bail them out. But the smart ones will be proactive and find the need and fulfill the need for those people that need help today.
Exactly. Again, Mr. Madrano, we thank you. And everyone, we thank you for tuning in and watching today. So again, the contact information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, so you can reach out to us. So again, everyone, have a rest of your day. You know, be blessed, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, Jimmy.